Miniature Fairy Gardening 2.0, a quick step-by-step guide on how to make your own fun. Miniature Fairy Gardens by HowExpert with Casey Anderson. Have you ever seen those adorable containers with the tiny houses, small plants, and little fairy creatures? Those are called fairy gardens. They are super fun to make. If you like the idea and look of them, but always felt like it was too complicated or creative for you to do yourself, then you should read this book. It's a handy guide to get yourself in the mindset for fairy gardening that's also full of tips about how to create them. You don't have to be super artsy, crafty, or have a green thumb to make a fairy garden. The most important quality to have is imagination and a desire for fun. You will learn and be able to. Some of the best places to find fairy garden items. Imagination stimulation. Popular plants for fairy gardens. Ideas and materials for creating your own pieces. Step-by-step instructions for making certain fairy items. How to turn everyday objects into magical fairy pieces. Tips for choosing pots and locations. Layout out ideas. Show off your new fairy garden. And much more. About the expert. Casey Anderson is a woman in her mid-30s who can sometimes remember what it was like to be a child with an overactive imagination. She finds fairies enchanting, miniature gardens invigorating, and basically anything tiny delightful. She thinks there's something about small that so often means cute. She's made nearly 100 fairy gardens. She's entered her fairy gardens in local fairs and won ribbons. Casey also loves the idea of a craft that can be completed without extensive training and skills. She has fun with fairy gardening and loves to instill her passion for it into friends and family members. Table of Contents. Chapter 1. What is a fairy garden and why would I want one? Chapter 2. How do I get started? Chapter 3. Buying pieces for fairy gardens. Chapter 4. Found fairy garden items. Chapter 5. Making your own fairy garden. Chapter 6. Picking your plants. Chapter 7. Assembling and planting your garden. Chapter 8. Displaying your fairy garden. HowExpert publishes how-to guides on all topics, from A to Z by everyday experts. Visit howexpert.com to learn more.